you guys hear me? You can't? You can. Always somebody in the front row. Thanks for being here on this beautiful fall day for the university address. This is pretty simple. Our president of the Student Senate is going to introduce the president. He's going to speak, and then we're adjourned. And so let me talk a little bit about president of our Student Senate. Abdul Rahman Harris is our president. He's sitting in the front row. He's a senior at Wayne State. He's a psychology major. He also has minors in biology and in history. When he's done here with his undergrad, he wants to go to med school, and he wants to go to med school right here at Wayne State, so I'm just kind of putting that seed in the president's ear over here, not that that would make any difference on how this is chosen. But he's also very active. Obviously, he's the president of the Student Senate, and he's also a peer mentor and works with the Muslim Student Association. He works out in the community, too, in healthcare, so he does a lot of stuff. He's a very passionate young man, and I have no doubt that he's going to be very successful and make us all proud. He's also, being a student, he's got class this morning. So if he gets up and leaves in the middle of the presentation, that's not disrespect. He's doing exactly what we want him to do, which is to go to class. So Abdul Rahman Harris, come on up here.
So thank you very much to Dr. Wright for allowing me to have this opportunity to speak in front of all of you, and to, I'm so used to doctor and professor. Yeah. It's basically ingrained in me. Okay. So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I was allowed the great privilege of introducing a man of great responsibility here at Wayne State University, President M. Roy Wilson. So while the meaning behind the M initial of his name is certainly a great mystery to the students of Wayne State University, his work certainly is not. With the grand opening of the Anthony Wayne Apartments, an improvement in the 6-year graduation rates, welcoming one of the largest freshman classes, and many more accomplishments, it's no surprise that President Wilson has come with great goals in mind for Wayne State, and that he's a man of action. Now, I had a very brief meeting with President Wilson a couple days ago, and I would like to make that the main focus of my speech, as I learned a great deal about him in our short conversation. Walking in his office, the first thing you will notice is a treadmill with a workstation attached to it. Personally, when I work out, I have a hard time just taking care of my cell phone, so we have a man that's dedicated to his craft, even on his morning stroll. As I sat down and I sipped my coffee, I started off with the most important question coming from a pre-med student. So why medicine? And the answer was certainly one that I didn't expect. To much of my surprise, President Wilson originally intended to go into psychology, having fell in love with books he had read by Carl Jung and even the bizarre Freud. But what interested me the most was his passion, although thwarted by the then popular behavioral method of Skinner, kept him pursuing the medical route to discover more of what originally brought him to college. This pursuit of something greater was seen even when everything was against his wishes. He kept moving forward. Our conversation flowed into very interesting topics of hobbies. I brought up his love of cycling, and he followed through with stories of how he got involved and how he ultimately decided to step away from the competitive route. Cycling was then followed by basketball and his injury to his Achilles tendon, which ultimately led to him stepping away from the court. He was once again pursuing something greater. He kept moving forward. I'll end my introduction of President Wilson with a request. As I began to pack up my stuff and head to class, I asked him 2 important things. Number 1, who is your motivation? To which he responded, disadvantaged people. And what keeps you going? And he simply answered, going to make a difference. My request, President Wilson, is that you continue to be a man from this speech, a man who continues to move forward, and that you bring Wayne State University on your journey. Thank you, and please welcome President M. Roy Wilson.
Well, thank you, Abdul. That was a very generous, maybe the best introduction I've ever So appreciate it. Want to acknowledge Jacqueline, who's here. Also, before I start, there are days when, or weeks, times of the year, when it seems like there's something important every day that you have to get up for and do. And as soon as you get done, instead of relaxing, you have to get up for the next thing, something else pops up. And it's been like that the last couple of weeks. And I just want to thank Michael Wright and Allison Gilliam for getting me prepared for this. Truth be told, Allison was helping me until just 5 minutes ago. And I saw her walking in the opposite direction. I said, "Aren't you going the wrong way?" She said, "No, she's got to write my next speech for me." So I just want to thank Allison, even though she's not here to hear my thanks. At some point, Abdul, if you want to know what the M stands for, I'm happy to sit down and talk to you about that. So welcome to the new academic year, and I want to thank all of you for being here. As all of you know, this is a big year for us. We're celebrating the 150th anniversary of our founding as the Detroit Medical College. We're also marking the successful conclusion of our $750 million Pivotal Moments campaign, a goal we met several months ahead of schedule. And while we've had much to celebrate and reflect on this year, I don't want us to lose track of our 2016 to 2021 distinctively Wayne State University strategic plan. We are almost at the midpoint of the plan, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to take a look at where we stand with our goals. I'd like to start with an observation that I hope has been apparent to everyone here. It's getting crowded on campus. The lines for coffee and food are getting longer and longer. There are more bikes and scooters, I should probably add, parked on the mall. And while there are just more people around, and some of this is the usual start of the semester, but some of that is because we have more students on campus. And that's not an accident. It's part of our strategic plan. So let's just start there. Enrollment. The strategic plan states that our goal is to grow enrollment to 30,000 students. This fall, we're welcoming the largest group of full-time freshmen in our history, our 150-year history. When classes began August 29th, there were 2,955 full-time freshmen. That's an increase of 15% over last year's incoming freshman class. We also welcomed 3,074 FIDIACs, first time in any college, our largest group in more than 10 years. Community college transfers are up 7.1%. Last year, we saw a big drop in international students, like many other colleges and universities. But this year, we reversed the trend, and new international students are up 3.5% over last year. And they're college ready. Over the last 10 years, our selectivity has increased steadily, and the credentials of our fall 2017 and 2018 class are among the highest credentialed classes on record, with a average GPA of 3.4. Now, some of these new students are former students we're welcoming back to school through our Warrior Way Back program. This program allows students who left the university with debt but no college degree to re-enroll, work off their debt, and hopefully join the rank of Wayne State alumni. We have 43 of these students so far, and each of them has their own Warrior Strong story. We hope this program becomes a national model in opening the door for another shot at a college degree. Some of our enrollment seems to be related to new campus development. Just last month, we had the ribbon cutting for the brand new Mike Ilitch School of Business in downtown Detroit. This beautiful new learning facility has brought a surge in enrollment for the school. Since we announced the $40 million Ilitch gift in October 2015, graduate enrollment in the Mike Ilitch School of Business has increased by 2/3 to more than 1,400 students this fall. And in that same time, total enrollment in the school has increased by 1/3 to more than 4,000 students today. While enrollment is growing in certain categories, like new students, overall enrollment continues to be somewhat flat. Now, there are two reasons for this. First, we're graduating more students sooner, and that means we have fewer students in the extreme out years. This is a factor we hadn't fully considered when setting our enrollment goal of 30,000 by 2021. Nevertheless, it's a good problem to have. Second, as I mentioned last year, we saw a steep decline in international student enrollment. And even though we've had a slight uptick this year, international student enrollment will likely remain a challenge for the near future. And so to hit the 30,000 goal by 2021, we have to admit that will be difficult. But at the risk of seeming overly optimistic, I'm not quite ready to adjust that goal yet. Not yet. Let's keep our sights high. Graduation rate. One of our key priorities in the strategic plan was to increase the 6-year graduation rate to 50%, and we made headline-worthy progress toward this goal. Our 6-year graduation rate is now about 47%, an increase of 19 percentage points over a period of 6 years, and slightly up from last year. Now, we're still in the process of verifying this with the latest IPEDS data, but we believe this is the fastest improvement in 6-year graduation rate of any major college or university in the nation. Now, this really stunning rate of increase in our overall 6-year graduation rate has made another one of our goals more challenging. Our strategic plan calls for us to close the graduation rate gap for underrepresented students. We've made progress here and closed the gap by about 4 percentage points. That's good, but it's not yet fast enough to close the gap completely by 2021. And that's because the overall graduation rate increase is so steep that it's just hard to close that gap. So that's another good problem to have. Simple math means it will be difficult, if not impossible, to close the gap by 2021. At some point, if we continue this progress, these rates will converge, as the African American graduation rate has more than doubled over the past 6 years, which is considerably faster than the overall rate. But we should all be happy, however, if all rates continue to climb quickly and steadily. And while this wasn't an explicit goal stated in the strategic plan, I want Wayne State to implement a clear 4-year graduation plan, because 6 years should not be the standard completion rate for our students. In fact, I'd like to explore the option of a 4-year guarantee of some sort. In other words, if a student does everything they can to complete their bachelor's degree in 4 years, but Wayne State falls short, for instance, by not offering a required course when needed, then the student will finish their degree at no cost. We owe it to our students to help them complete their degrees and move on with their lives as quickly as possible. So let's continue to raise that bar. Other student success initiatives. Importantly, we're laying the foundation for continued improvement in our graduation rate. Here are just a few of our initiatives that was mentioned in the strategic plan. An important objective in our strategic plan was to restructure the general education program to ensure student learning outcomes and success. We successfully modified our general education program for the first time in 30 years, laying the basis for a true 21st century learner. A byproduct of the new Gen Ed curriculum is greater flexibility for the students, which should help them in achieving a successful educational outcome. Additionally, we launched the Warrior VIP program for students who are admitted regularly yet could benefit from extra support. Increasing student housing options was a stated objective in our strategic plan. We know students who live on campus tend to have higher success rates, and last month, we opened phase 1 of the Anthony Wayne Apartments to accommodate a burgeoning demand for campus living. We have 400 new students living on campus this year and 400 more next year. So yes, it is getting crowded, but those are the kind of crowds that I think we all can live with. Research. Our stated goals for a research enterprise are ambitious. Among them are increasing research expenditures, expanding the research enterprise, and establishing an Office of Research Development. And we have some exciting upticks. I've noted in the past that research awards have been increasing. In fact, federal funding has increased by 14% since 2014, but expenditures always lag awards. I'm happy to report that research expenditures went up in 2016 to $221.5 million, and in 2017 to $226.5 million, and we anticipate the number will continue to rise this next year. As part of our goal to expand the research enterprise, we have established the Translational Neurosciences Initiative, the Healthy Urban Waters Initiative, and the Translational Sciences and Clinical Research Initiative. In an effort to enhance our pipeline of student researchers, we're working to build undergraduate majors in several key subjects. Back in 2016, we launched an undergraduate degree in public health, which has been wildly popular. Now, we're working to develop curriculum for an undergraduate major in neurosciences, which we anticipate will be completed in about a year or so. Another key priority outlined in the strategic plan was the establishment of an Office of Research Development to identify and support programmatic grant initiatives, develop structured processes around instrumentation and equipment grants, and diversify our funding portfolio. This year, we recruited an AVP, Denise Figlywoods, to spearhead these efforts. Entrepreneurship. Innovation and entrepreneurship are cultural value and strategic focus area, respectively, in our plan. And we've advanced our efforts in these areas in notable ways. The Wayne Innovation Studio, powered by TechTown, is open right inside the front door of the undergraduate library. If students have an idea about starting a business or want help to grow something they're already working on, then it's the first place they should go. Also in line with the strategic plan, we created a council on entrepreneurship composed of deans, the VP for research, and the VP for economic development. This group provides leadership and coordination of academic and research activities within colleges and around the university that involve entrepreneurship. It relies on the Innovation and Entrepreneurship Steering Committee made up of faculty and staff from around the university to identify opportunities and directions for better supporting the entrepreneurial ecosystem here at Wayne State. To improve the speed and effectiveness of our engagement with businesses, we are developing a Wayne State Office for Business Innovation that we expect will be operational by winter of 2019. Universities sometimes have the reputation, oftentimes have the reputation, of being complex organizations that move slowly and are so risk-averse that they cannot capitalize on opportunities to collaborate with businesses. Establishing the OBI will allow us to create new public-private partnerships to create more in innovative R&D, accelerate the process and effectiveness of tech transfer opportunities, and take advantage of exciting business opportunities. Wayne State is well positioned to do this successfully. We've got lots of talented faculty. We're located in Detroit, where new industries and technologies are being developed. We're aligned with the TechTown entrepreneurial ecosystem, and we have a history of innovation and entrepreneurship. The OBI will ensure we have the structure and processes in place to facilitate these interactions and capitalize on the growing technology and business opportunities. Diversity and inclusion. Wayne State strives to be a welcoming and inclusive environment where diversity is broadly valued. Diversity and inclusion run deep in our history, and their importance is evidenced by the fact that diversity and inclusion is both a strategic focus and a cultural value. To this end, the Office of Diversity and Inclusion has been active on many fronts. Among the specific strategic plan objectives was the launch of an office devoted to multicultural student engagement. This office, launched officially as the Office of Multicultural Student Success, or OMSI, as it's sometimes commonly called, OMSI seeks to cultivate a safe campus environment where we value, promote, and celebrate the identities of all students on our campus. It also plays a key role in offering initiatives that positively address and impact student success for underrepresented and at-risk students. The Office of Diversity and Inclusion spearheaded a climate survey to learn more about issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion on our campus. 40% of staff, 25% of faculty, and 12% of students responded to the survey, and we expect to release an analysis of the results later this fall. The climate study will continue with focus groups and other forms of data gathering and analysis that will occur in the months ahead. Financial stability and operational excellence. Without financial stability, we would struggle to achieve our vision or even meet our short-term goals and objectives. That's why financial stability and operational excellence is a focus area in the strategic plan. I've already noted a couple of areas that contribute to our financial health: enrollment and our Pivotal Moments campaign, which are among the key metrics of the plan. These help our financial situation, but they don't tell us where we stand from the standpoint of overall financial health and stability. We measure our financial health by analyzing a number of financial ratios and measures, all of which we roll into what we call a composite financial index, or CFI. To provide some context, a CFI of 1 indicates very little financial health. A CFI of 10 is the top of the range. A CFI of 3.0 represents a relatively strong financial position and is what I'd like to call an acceptable, yet maybe low benchmark. Last year, our CFI was 2.49, and our goal this year was 3.0. We beat this goal and improved significantly to 3.53. We are not yet where we want to be, but we are moving quickly in the right direction. Also among the key metrics in this area of the strategic plan is the need to improve the reputation and level of awareness of Wayne State. We've got a number of initiatives in this area, including our Warrior Strong brand campaign, which launched last October and is moving forward. We've also shared a lot of great history with the world this year as we celebrated 150 years in the heart of Detroit. 2 public relations programs, The Conversation and the Op-Ed Project, are helping our faculty get national and international attention. The Conversation is a not-for-profit media outlet for articles written collaboratively by university faculty members and editors with the goal of conveying expert information in layman's terms. Since Wayne State began participating in the summer of 2017, our faculty members have published 48 articles by 31 Wayne State faculty authors for a total readership of 1.65 million across the globe. Our top 2 publishers, outlets that republished our articles, are CNN and the Washington Post. The Op-Ed Project works to diversify the academic voices sharing ideas in the media. In November, we conducted an internal seminar called Right to Change the World for 20 faculty members, several of whom have gone on to publish their first op-eds in media outlets such as the Detroit News and the Chronicle of Higher Education. These sorts of activities will pay off over time to raise our public stature and reputation. But our reputation also depends on how well we serve our core mission. I continue to have mixed feelings about the U.S. News and World Report ranking because the rankings can be manipulated, and I have no intention of trying to game the system, although all too many do. But people do pay attention to the report, and we need to as well. But if we do the right things, like improving graduation and retention rates, it can pay off in the rankings. I was pleased last year to report that Wayne State broke into the U.S. News and World Report rankings at 223. This year, we moved up nearly 20 spots, a very significant improvement to 205. This is a big jump over 1 year and places us 4th in Michigan. If we keep to our mission, we'll keep rising in our rankings. To give you a bit more information on our Pivotal Moments campaign, I'm sure you all know that we met our $750 million campaign goal a few months early, which is, of course, an excellent outcome. But here's some more good news. Money is still coming in. So we currently stand at $761.7 million, and by the time the campaign formally concludes at the end of this month, we expect that our final amount will be close to $770 million. This is a tremendous contribution to our financial sustainability goals, and one that was made possible through the tireless support and generosity of many. We have a special celebration for this achievement planned next month in October, and I hope you will join us. You'll be hearing more about this soon. One final financial sustainability metric in the strategic plan that I want to mention is increasing the endowment to $500 million. Currently, our endowment has grown to $383 million, and we anticipate an additional $120 million or more in a new planned gifts that have been pledged but not yet secured. This represents a great improvement over the past 3 years, as our endowment was actually going down several years ago. This turnaround is due in part to better investment performance, probably through the introduction of a chief investment officer, as well as our fundraising efforts. On some of our metrics, we still have progress to make. One of our key metrics was the establishment of a centralized community engagement database. This will allow us to track our community engagement activities in all the schools, colleges, and units using up-to-date, searchable data. This has proved a challenge. We have a strong history of community engagement across the campus, but we have been decentralized in our approach, and it's been difficult to gather information or keep our records current. We're not giving up on this, though. Having this information at hand can help people understand just how much we do, help us collaborate for greater impact, open up new opportunities for people to get involved or start new projects to fill in gaps. I've asked that we restart this initiative and complete it during our planning cycle. Another key objective in the area of financial sustainability was to improve the budgeting process and implement new tools and budget models. To this end, we launched a collaborative process across campus 18 months ago to develop a new budget model, and we expect to roll this out by 2020. Also, in keeping with our goals of operational excellence, computing and information technology is 3/4 of the way through a campus-wide Wi-Fi upgrade. We hope students and staff are noticing the improvement in service. CNIT also is constructing a new data center, the first one on campus in 55 years, and they expect to complete that project by the end of the year. Now, I've covered a lot of ground today, and there's much more I could have talked about. I hope you're heartened by this progress, as I am, but not completely satisfied. We have roughly 2.5 years left to go, and I'm optimistic we can make a good deal of progress in that time. Let's continue working toward our strategic plan goals, and let's even surpass them. 5 years ago, I gave my first university address, and I shared my vision for the university. I shared my thoughts on where we should focus our efforts, and these became the basis for the strategic plan that I've talked about today. Think of how far we've come. I want to thank you for stepping up to the challenge. Your dedication and talent has made Wayne State University better. And thanks to your efforts, we have much to celebrate during our sesquicentennial. I am proud to be part of the team. Go Warriors.
Thank you, President Wilson. We're adjourned.